channel. My name is Balaganesan Rajgopal. Welcome to my YouTube. More knowledge, more wisdom. Today Saturday, 13th August 2022. Madras Day special second walk. Today around 7:30 Mr Vincent D Mount Road Heritage Walk. So I am starting from home. Now it is around 5:30, 5:40. West Mamlatland Nakalamra. I am going to pick up Krishna from Alvarpet. Then we are going to meet at Hindu newspaper office gate.
Hi Bala, welcome to another heritage walk. Hey, hi Bala, welcome to another heritage walk. It's a night walk. This is the first night heritage walk. Hopefully we can have a good information and fun.
Hi Krishna, come on, let's go for the walk. On this walk, it's a different kind of walk. This is going to be a very personalized walk of mine, so I'll be a little selfish. I'm not going to give you dates and things like that, but I'll give you what this road means to a people who grew up in the 60s and the 70s. So in that sense, it's a very personalized kind of walk. So no dates, nothing, but I'll give you a sense about, we'll start with a sense about where we are, and then we'll start walking. I have three things to do here. Okay, so has anybody walked down this road? Some of you have walked down, right? So this is Mount Road, and now it's called Anna Salai, named after Anna Durai, whose statue is up there, the former chief minister of this state. Okay. This is to me, this is the key road. There were only two roads in Madras. The roads, Mount Road, and the other side, Punumari High Road, which will take you to Bangalore. This takes you down to Kanyakumari. Okay? So let's get a sense about where we are. So up here, if you kind of walk, perhaps for the next 45 minutes, you will go and touch the Fort St. George, the seat of the East India Company, and then of course later the starting of the British Empire. Right? So 1639, we take up a year, a date, where the guy set up a little hut, and then the fort took its own shape. So the fort is a city by itself, and therefore everybody lives in different quarters and things like that. So in the first few years, most of not just the British, also the Portuguese, the Armenians, the Jews and everything else who were doing business locally, were all up there. They also had houses inside. So trying to kind of setting up your new home is what they were trying to do. Right? And hi, come. You better come this way. Yeah. So they were setting up home and putting things together, sorry. And then slowly they had to get some fresh air, okay? And they began to slowly come out. So I'll restrict it to this road. Now don't ask me when the road was laid and things like that, but this is the little Kacha road, okay? And there's nothing for these guys to really do, right? So everything is happening inside the fort, and they want some fresh air. And who's going to give them whatever little fresh air, little more than fresh air, is how the road slowly begins to develop and take shape, right? You see that overbridge there, the railway tracks, which is the MRTS railway tracks up there. So if you walk during the daytime, you will see the Kuam River. There's a river. And beyond the river, is the island. So if you trace the waterfront, if you're like adventurous, then you'll see that there's a part of land. The fort is there. Just come out a little bit and see the waters of the rivers. There's the Elambo River. Now it's merged up, and then it creates the island, right? Because there's water all around. And then this is the Kuam. So what will the guys do? So they start building a little bridge, wooden bridge, chota bridge, wooden bridge, iron bridge. Finally, we have one of our first bridges, which is called St. George's Bridge. If you like bridges and architecture, I would suggest just go down the other side, which takes you to the beach, and look at the bridge in all its majesty, right? Because today, all these old bridges which are still standing after about 200 years, right? If you want to look at what these guys really did, not saying the Velagars did it, our guys who built it, but the architecture, and this I think is 5 spans, and in the morning it looks wonderful with the reflection of the sun and the water. The sun comes up there. Okay, so the bridge comes up and allows further traffic. Okay, now traffic doesn't mean this crazy traffic. Today was amazingly crazy, that's why I got delayed. You know what people, I thought they were all gone home. Anyway, right. Now, so people begin to get some fresh air, go to Gadis. They used to do, I won't tell you other things. I'm not going to tell you naughty details just because it's a nightlife kind of thing. I'm not the guy who has got all those things up. Okay, so they come in here. Right, now, I want to turn attention to this, but we can't see, we don't have the facility, we could go in. But this is the government estates, yeah? And before that, East India Company, right? Two places, one the government stage, the other is called the banqueting hall. So every grand stuff, dance and music and all that, right, that happens, welcoming big guys and stuff like that, takes place in banqueting hall, now called Rajaji Hall. It's still there, and one of the days if you go inside, it's got wooden flooring and things like that, everything for ballroom dancing, the works and things like that. Okay? Right. Now, there's something much later that comes up. You need services around. Right? So I'm going to be looking at, my interest is basically what happens to road development, people, social life. Why does it happen? Where does it happen in the city? Okay? That's my focus. So services need to come in, and therefore people around need to serve, right? So when there's a lot of entertainment going on, there's food and there is lots of, music and dance. So who plays the music? Right. And that's where the musicians came in, and essentially these were the Anglo-Indians of the city who were partly trained, youngsters taken from the Anglo-Indian schools and trained by the British, right? Because they had some knowledge of music. And therefore, since the music had to be played for all your little parties like you might have tonight, right? Those people then were headquartered inside the campus, and they sort of ran the parties there. So while this would have been a very quiet road, right? The big parties took place there, but early evening, not so late in the old times, right? So the musicians come in. And slowly, this kind of begins to, when the parties and stuff like that, and the colonial rules begin to sort of slowly kind of fade out, even much before, the Anglo-Indian musicians are in great demand in the entertainment places. And therefore, just before you cross the river, you have one of the oldest clubs around, called the Gymkhana Club. Okay? Still very colonial stuff. Floor and stuff like that. So, the Anglo-Indian community was on the fringes of this road, closer to where they could get some jobs and exhibit their talent. And therefore there's always a movement of Anglo-Indians in the government estate, families residing inside, housed, and then the other guys who would go play, right, brass, jazz, those times kind of thing, all brass bands played in the Gymkhana club. So again, very quiet things happening around because it's still a Kacha road and not crazy around the place. Okay? Slowly develops. You see, you just patch the whole thing together, then you understand how this patched up. Now, that side. So now this side. Now that is Simpsons. Okay, that's Simpsons. And this is the Hindu newspaper. And that side is the male newspaper. Okay? So now this side began to get what I call industrialized. Okay, that's too big a word, right? This is plain swampland all across. Okay, so the British built a colony up there. I'm not going to go into that for the weavers. But if one guy, Oakshott, picks up this land, you develop little motors, then coaches, scooty coaches, right? Yeah. So when I grew up, okay, I'm not going to tell you who built the Hindu and all that stuff, okay? But in the 60s, when we used to walk at 8 o'clock, it'll be all lonely, right? Everybody's gone home, nobody's doing anything here, right? At night, you'll hear the machine, right? These guys are doing a lot of business, okay? Right? I'm talking about the Simpsons run by the amalgamation, the Indian owners. I'm not talking too much colonial, just giving you a background. I'm talking about 60s now. So if you came in here, yeah, this was a hugely busy place. So night shift, people come in, you park all your cycles there. There was a strong trade union, so they meet up at the park. But at night, machines ran. So if I stood here, and with minus this traffic in the 60s, well, I would see all the paper rolls of the Hindu being loaded up for the machines. If I went a little deeper, I would hear the teleprinters. Okay, the teleprinters are large, well, I call them typewriting machines, banging away news that's coming in and banging in the news. So it's quiet, and therefore at night is when, yeah, the newspaper guys are hard at work, and therefore, right, this was a busy place inside, nothing to do outside. Okay? Pass by, look at it, you'll see some old pictures, and then the lights, they will put some lights on this building. The building was there, and then you will look at all the scores because we didn't have all this Twitter, bitter, right? So we watch the scores, watch the election results of different parties through the night, and the Hindu began to put this up. Okay? Right. Well, the mail was a morning and then became an evening paper, rolled into one really because it was also serving, it was an evening paper essentially. The building next to that which still survives to the boats. Okay? So after 5 or 6, right, if you came around, you would probably grab the last copy of the mail from the mail newspaper. Okay? But not many people really were around because they had nothing to do. They were not a very public kind of place. Okay? Let's go and see if we got something left over at the mail. Let's go to the next one.
This bridge is of 11 or 2. I'm just recollecting from
completed centenary and I think closed down in 1989 or whatever. But this was, or anyone who's like fascinated with news and wants to read it, and we wanted to know the news in the evening, this was the paper. Okay? So we come here and buy it. But if the copies were exhausted, then we had some consolation. So today, if you look at the newspaper shops selling newspapers, especially the Tamil guys, they have these huge posters, the headlines. So in the old days, which was the British colonial practice, so on this pillar, that pillar, you can see it sticking out. that it's all like cut down to size. So you would have these big boats here. And then the two headlines, the mail, headline 1, headline 2. So people working late or just wanted interested and copies were over by 5, 6 o'clock. People like us who used to live in the interiors just walk down and, you know, look at it. Simple things of life right on the main road, but it was so important for people who were interested, different interests, music that side. That was like, you know, a castle by itself. We didn't go there. We didn't know. I mean, music didn't happen in the 60s. By that time, they're all gone. But I'm saying that was a different world, and this was a different world. Yeah? Okay, come along. So, but it was a nice place. Anybody who's not seen this place? Like, you cannot quickly go in, look above, and you get a sense of the grand Mount Road shop in the center. Quickly, in a minute we are off. Just look around, you get a sense of the old. You look at that building, which is all overshadowed, I mean, clammed up with the board. See the minarets? And then you look at the pillars and the granite. Okay? And then turn your eyes to this wonderfully recently conserved building. Okay? Look at the grandness of the building. This is large, but this is very interesting because I built all this. Now I'm standing here. You know what the street is, right? What's this bazaar? Richie Street. Richie Street. You want all the computer stuff and all that. No, we're not going to talk about it. I'm standing here because these two guys represented the shopping destinations, right, of the fashionable young people, especially women of the city, right? So, the Sindhi community, which is small, were the ones who dominated and still do. Most of them have moved out of that, right, into the in the clothes business, right? They had contacts all over, not locally done, not cotton stuff, Nilex, frocks and stuff like that, especially for the Anglo-Indians or the Western wear, right? Elson's was the place to get what? What do you think?
T-shirts.
Huh?
T-shirts.
Not really t-shirts, but probably one of the earliest places, right, to wear jeans. Okay, so big brand, Elson's. Okay, so yeah, and then of course your little thing. I think they had woolens. I'm not sure, but I definitely both the showcases, and we just gape at it and say, oh man, when are we going to get this done? Okay, two showcases that you can see, right? Elson's still there, some Johnny running something else. Now this is India Silk House. Okay, it's been taken back by the original owners, which is the Anjuman guys. I won't get into the history of it. So at one point at the rear was a India Coffee House. So like you come in and have some coffee and whatever. But India coffee houses across the country have this large, heritage of where you can sit and have some good coffee and dosa and stuff like that and then chat. But here, later on, India Silk House at the bottom, right, run by the whatever brothers they're called, I forget their name, was the place to get all your saris and frocks and materials. It's a massive one, and I used to live on the street, and the whole place on the first floor was all tailors, right? And therefore, Mount Road, after work, whoever wanted people to come and shop would come in and start shopping. Nothing happening there. Yeah, watches and stuff as you saw. I just wanted you to sense the colonial, architecture of the store. But this took on, as you can see, many of these spaces also had a link with the Musalmans and the Iranians and Sindhis and all those people who had sort of with the original communities around. Some of them owned the land around here. I lived in a building that was owned by one of them. Okay, and that's why you see all the minaret kind of stuff. Okay, recently Anjuman, which is the original owner, has taken over and they're planning some kind of shopping arcade there. But this was really in bad shape. It still is. I don't know why they're not taken over that little plant that is still hanging around there. But fantastic. This is the market, of course, that this was a very quiet place. But so from here, after 6, the shopping business starts. So you can see, keep a right on the right, and you look at some of the old ones. The first Kadi shop there. Shop. So, come. Yeah. So eyes there, then we'll shift. So as you can see, the road remains as it was. Just that in the center, the whole lot of avenue trees. And where is our friend Anadore? He is there. Right. Now, a couple of things here. You see the Hindu Tamil place? That's the Hindu property. Okay? Now, just as I told you, you wanted scores there, much later, the Hindu began to run the digital display of the news. Okay, so if you wanted again to catch up with the news, you just had to hang around here, and right up there, the digital display of the news would run. That's the Hindu's place. Now, Park was the place to eat. What's the restaurant called? Yeah, okay, you're not Bath. Right. So, Coronation Darbar. Coronation Darbar for this side of the Mount Road community and the spillovers who came for the night shows. Slightly cheaper non-vegetarian food, paya, samosas, biryani, parotas and all that stuff. Coronation Darbar was the place. So, night show. No, yeah, that's the building. Gone. And the fun, people wanted some fun, then you got those big jukeboxes, right? Put in a coin and the machine picks up the little vinyl and plays it. So everybody, my friends still remember, they said, forget the food, man. What about the music? Yeah? So little joys of life in those days looks odd now, but they were great things. If you can imagine living at that time, just putting your little dog and going have some nice thick Irani dum tea. You know, I was just coming in. By the way, these guys are so smart in the city. This guy is advertising in Adyar. Madras, 1960s, Madras dum tea. Present with a very good Malu Sapat joint in Adyar. Okay, let's go and check that out. Okay, so T2, their cousins is one of the buildings that still remains a furniture place. Okay, right, and there are other places, Chalaram's at another place there. And therefore, all these places, yeah, so Marina. Called the Round Tana. So any colonial time cities you go, everywhere there's the Round Tana. It's actually, you know, Tana is what? Police station, but it's a police guy with a topi standing there. But if you're around, you park all your cycles and bikes that they do all the nonsense here. Around there, during the war time, we had the underground chambers, so silent. Slowly people just come around, peaceful. I wanted to tell you that the trams line, if you kind of maybe dig something, you might be lucky. So the tram lines ran towards the north of the city, and one more tram line went up to Triplicane on that side. Okay, but still, cool life, slow, cool life, hang around, like that red t-shirt Johnny see there, they're hanging around at the water and stuff like that. But we turn our eyes onto this building. So this is my favorite place, New Elphinstone Theatre and Jaffer's Ice Cream. Okay? Now New Elphinstone Theatre, before the movies started, we had to create the entertainment for the, the guys who can afford it, especially the guys in the fort. So, good thing is to match up a couple of people. And then, you get rowdies, especially these guys, they want entertainment, boxing, right? Then drinking, boxing, drinking, betting, getting, everything comes in there. You know what is happening. So, New Elphinstone started off as some kind of a mix of a entertainment place with boxing and singing and all that, and then became a theatre. Right, fantastic. No AC, nothing. Balcony, as if you were going up to Queensland or somewhere. And this was the theatre for all the English movies. Okay, this is the place, Raija Complex. And in the corner will be Jaffer's Ice Cream. The place, any person who's lived in Madras right till the 70s, 80s has to know Jaffer. Okay? So you can imagine after the night show, after about 11:30, 12, especially people, families who had their cars, the big guys who could afford the cars come and park here. I remember, no subway, park here, just go into Jaffer's, all the bar stools stand there, and the best ice creams ever, kind of thing. Yeah? Faluda. What's a faluda, by the way? What's a faluda? Uh-huh. Oh.
Yeah.
Where are you from?
Bengal.
Okay, what do you put?
Whatever I mentioned, just that.
What jelly? Okay. If you want to, like PRR and SONS, if you want to take some pictures of colonial style shops, JF Latoy, just go in, park in, anyway there are no customers, you want to take, go in, you're okay, no problem, yeah, he's happy. All shops, you look at the storage facility, yeah, and is for the triplicane kind of people, right? And this Ramkhana is for the Pudupet kind of people, the people of this side. And of course, this is Richie Street, okay? Now, I'm not going to get into this famous, which has all come down, it's called the hotel and all that. So it's too much, I don't know, I didn't live at that time, okay? But the Ramkhana was important, right? And therefore, that's why, you see that building is colonial time building, still succeeds. There's one that's hidden here, and this one here, this one. You can see the windows and the very simple Art Deco kind of thing, which is what most people did. Okay, so that's the only one that is left. But here, we had the real, the nightlife going on. So casino, theatre, then the Guiety theatre, and then the Chitra talkies. So Tamil, two sides, English, the best sort of theatres of that time. So everybody had a good time. Night shows were there, and then they would just come in here, hang around, and go either to Darbar, or go to Buhari's, or go to the night shows, or whatever. They did everything around here. So this was the little Ramkhana up here, right? That is Richie Street, the start of Richie Street, which was actually the original radio market, right? People listening to big radios with all those little big things. What they call? Walls. Yeah, big walls. Like you listen to the radio, right? Fantastic stuff. You think like God is speaking to you. Yes, friend? Yeah. Okay. Right, God is speaking to you. So it started as a radio market and then quickly kind of, was cleared off by as the electronics market. Everything you want, you get it here if you got the right contacts. Right? No free market, fuck up. Now I've kept dropping walls here, all the big, because I was pre-colonial, colonial time, I'm not around, but all those places that you can see, the large buildings which had Laidlaw and all those very brands, which I've forgotten, but not during my time. But I'm here because another theatre called Shanthi Theatre, okay? Shanthi Theatre here for the Tamil movies, owned by the Ganeshan family, and the only nightclub around the place. It is called Bil's Restaurant, so it'll be in the corner of the building. So the restaurants, the families could go and have some nice grub about there. And then late night, you got to, well, if you went inside, then you got a lot of posters. All the girls would be dancing at night. Sorry? Yeah, that's the poor cousin of it. So if you want to be adventurous, you can be there. And if there's a raid, then you got to pay a fine. Okay? You hear after 11 o'clock there'll be some kind of weird sounds coming to entice you to go inside. But this was the real cabaret kind of dances going on. Bil's Restaurant, regular restaurant for families. Yeah, the poor cousin is here. That I like. Come, what's that inside? Come. Sami, எத்தனை படம்? Anybody is a Shivaji fan? எத்தனை படம் total?
More than 350, 350. More than 300.
Okay, so what happened was the theatre was there. Pals will be in that corner, and that's the theatre. Now these guys are boxed it this way as corporate officers. But one nice thing that they've done, although the guy deserves much more, is that they used to have a big board, but now what they've done is right across the campus, you've got all the movies into the granite. So you can go all over. And I'm told if you can get permission, they've created a little gallery on the mezzanine or whatever. Just take permission during the daytime. So if you're a Shivaji Ganeshan fan, do come back, just smile and get things done. So if you go right across, yeah, they just put this. I never knew there was a movie that he acted called Success.
It's not the movie name.
No, dialogue.
The first
Success.
word uttered by Shivaji in the movie.
Ah, okay. First word
First word uttered by
first
Shivaji in the
dialogue.
first movie.
His first dialogue.
First dialogue in the first movie is success.
Success.
Parashakti.
Parashakti. Okay. Avian. Avian. Okay, that's where he did that. Okay. Super. Okay. Right. Thanks to Mr. Vivekanand.
And Balaji.
Balaji. Hey. Look to the side for one. It's well conserved, and therefore it's conserved because everybody says and claims to be the first formal movie theatre. Okay? Okay, what is it called?
Electric theatre.
Electric. Okay. But then it's well conserved. Next time you're coming around like you went to Pure and SONS, please go inside just to get a sense of the space. Okay? There's no movies during my time, but the sense of the space is a wonderful space. So kind of used by the electric, if you're a chance collector. Sorry? Yeah, there is a golf course is there. Yes, it's still there, right? Yeah, they've done some small efforts. But you must remember, North Madras. Before, it changes. People need to move out. Okay, right? So, up on Broadway, right, there was a lady, right, this guy who researched on all this, a lady who had turned up the first floor of that building, which still exists, some Vilas or whatever, it's still there. We turned that place all into 6 months or 8 months of regular shows, and then when you read it, you realize you find that she ran continuous shows. like a good old Blue Diamond here.
Blue diamond.
Yeah, 9 to 9 shows. What do you dare go? You can keep on there, take your girlfriend and sit for 9 hours or whatever. Right? So why didn't she do that in Broadway? Because Broadway was a buzz road. Okay? She was up here, this is Broadway. She was somewhere here, had all the posters. So she said, boss, let's run. Those movies were just less than 60 minutes. Just keep running so that somebody looks at it. Boss, when the next show, go and sit and watch. So that was called Bioscope. Something Guns Bioscope. I read that, but so he argues that that building is still there. So just like the government, the whole property was taken over by the Postal India Post, and they conserved it because the PMP at that time and Joseph Bhaskaran, who was a famous writer on environment, heritage and all that, born into Tamil, was also I think PhD somewhere. We all got together and say let's conserve it. Okay? No movies, 60s, 70s. I just want to because it's a wonderful little place. Come. Let's go on. It's quite a part, so I decided to step in. So what's the church doing in nightlife? Huh? To commit all the sins and come in and clean them up here.
Is there a graveyard with two people?
No graveyard.
They had a school also.
They had a school. Okay, but that I thought this was a nice place. So the new entertainment guys, yeah, Devi Cinemas, I won't get into history. So Sapphire, Blue Diamond and Emerald and that's it. And what about the ground floor? All the night shows. Navaratna was at the bottom. Okay, all the dirty things take place. Mezzanine. No, nothing dirty. It's just music. Usha Uthup has sung in that place, right? And that. Anyway, so Devi Cinemas was after all that Sapphire and all came up. Was Devi Paradise, Devi Bala, Devi Kala.
Devi.
Devi Mini were, yeah. Anjia.
Yeah.
Devi Mini was there. So Devi Cinemas came up in that plot of land, right? But I come here, now just the backup is that this is a Protestant church, Christ Church, which the community and the English and everyone raised because there were a lot of Eurasians and Anglo-Indians around this place, a place of worship. So that is daytime. But why I came here was there's still the Anglo-Indian school. And the Anglican school at that point, 60s, 70s, had a headmaster who produced every year a full-length Shakespeare play. Okay? So around August, behind this church, there's a large yard, and they put up the sets, and all school students, yeah? You're not like kutty ones like today, Bhavik guys like, but fantastic production of the Shakespeare plays. So it kept, I think they had about 2 weekends of shows. So all of us guys, you know, who knew wanted plays and knew the kids and all that would come here. I still remember great plays at night. Shakespeare's very good. Otherwise, you'd have to go to museum theatre to watch all those kind of plays.
Does
Right?
this still happen here?
Yeah?
Do the plays still take
No.
place here?
That was during that particular principal was into Shakespeare. They also had some musicians. Yeah. They were students when they were students. Anglo-Indians, yeah. A lot of essentially an Anglo-Indian school. Then of course, Indian school. If you went down the resurrected Suguna Vilas, which had Tamil plays here, right, at one point in time, and then the movie theatre inside. What's the movie theatre inside? Plaza, right? Inside. You go deep in, God knows where the hell you go. There used to be a movie theatre inside called Plaza, right? Shivaji's and the church padam enna sir? Church.
Alayamani.
Jnanavali. Oh man. Like Jnanavali carrying. My mother wanted me to see that with all sorts of Christian themes. Jnanavali. A good movie, no? Black and white, I remember. Guys like sitting there and doing all kinds of stuff.
You acted in the
As you can see, a mix of Art Deco, but straightforward stuff. So one of our high rises on Mount Road, right, in recent times, which is 70s or all that, 69 or whatever, still stands there. And there were little nooks, and the best that we remember at night was the restaurant called Mathura. Mathura. Ippo. It was called Eskimo restaurant.
Really?
Yeah. Okay.
This was folded up by the 80s, yeah.
Yeah. I'm talking about 60s, 70s. Eskimo restaurant, right? So, like, nice place. You go inside, the AC is like Eskimo da, right? But, Madras climate like today, the bloody thing is hot for 1 week. You go there and, like, fully glassed and all that. Looking very nice. I never went inside. It looked very, like, not for us types, people with fork and all that plate and shit going on inside. But Eskimo restaurant was a great place, and people would shop. Radha Silks had one. Apro for kids, there was a famous brand. Any idea, Rovina? A kids store or something. All the shops in the world were well-known places. Right? Mount Road died. Why did it die? Right? It died simply two reasons. One, because other places had their own shopping places. In those days, this was the destination. Or you would go to the bazaar, Georgetown, right? And then Pursavakam came up, and sort of Vadapalni, and all those places came up. So the brands began to move out. People didn't want to come here. Parking was a problem and stuff like that.
High traffic, heavy traffic.
Fairly heavy traffic, no parking.
So like the place got crowded as and when it got more developed.
It didn't develop so much, but the city began to expand. This was the place to come to at that point in time. And then in more recent times, when the Chennai metro work started, again the traffic was closed down and everybody had to shut down kind of stuff. Right? Our neighbor here is the Cosmopolitan Club. Anybody's member there? Gone inside? Huh? You've gone inside? Yeah, what's good there? Huh? We decided to start this club. So it has all the colonial grandeur, but if you're a foodie and if you have a friend in the Cosmopolitan Club, you must come on Sundays or festival days and have their biryani. It's super stuff. Right? In recent years, highly recommended for the biryani kind of thing. Okay, so Cosmopolitan Club. If you see all these clubs, you can't see them from main road. It's all driveways and inside and trees and all that. You don't know what the hell is going on. So people like us, be wondering. You'll have the Gurkha there saying, hey, keep away kind of stuff. Come. Our next stop. Second last. So how many people have not had grub here? None.
Hey, vegetarians, what do we get here?
Oh, okay.
It's vegetarian.
No.
Oh,
Hardcore non
oh yes.
Oh, yes, the beach member.
Okay.
No.
Okay, before we come, so I'm not going to give you history, it's all word written there and all that. But now, as you can see now, in the 60s and 50s and all that, this was the midnight spot. Everybody in the city who wanted to eat late night, after movies, after drinking, whatever, all came here because there are hardly any joints around the place. Everybody will be packed like it is today. Okay, as you can see, the restaurant is bloody packed today. Everybody came here to have grub because we got the best grub, and kind of if you came in a little early evening, they had a wonderful terrace garden, right? To have your samosas, 10 paisa or 3 or whatever, mutton samosas, wholly vegetarian. But for the vegetarian, I'm sorry, non-vegetarian, but you're vegetarian or what? You're a vegetarian. So for the vegetarians coming to the food, okay, the best thing to eat here is
Vegetarian.
the faluda comes later. Tea. Bun butter jam and tea. We'll try and see because in the corner he would have the buns and thing. I'll go and check. Bun butter jam even today. Just slice the bun, lather the butter, put the jam, blah, 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 kind of thing. I mean, it's kiddie stuff.
Dying day, last request. Peach melba for Buhari.
Yeah, that peach melba. Yeah, peach melba. Faluda also is good here.
Chicken 65.
The biryani is not so good, okay? Recent reports of all the guys who... So I got the report from Arjun, right?
Yeah.
Supposedly chicken 65, chicken 75, 95, 2025, everything invented here. And God knows why, what that chicken 65 was. Okay, but it was, I mean, it started here, all right, you don't know where it is. But these guys went dead and then resurrected. Now it's 3 parts of a family. That don't buy the biryani here. Okay, for all the vegetarians, there was more recent times. Up there was Mathura, was fantastic. Mathura was fantastic. More recent times, up there was Mathura, was fantastic. Mathura was fantastic.
A revolving restaurant?
No, some people, they're up there.
Right at the top.
They're not on the top, up there.
Okay,
Yeah, where the trees are. Mathura was fantastic. All the James of the city would come there and clean up. But an equally good partner in boxing, which is now resurrected, was Bilal. Where's he?
There.
Bilal, go there. There. Royal Orchard building. So Bilal has come alive. So that guy will complete same kind of food, slightly poorer kind of thing. But Bilal recently came up again. I've not tasted the food. People have got mixed, but it's still getting better. Okay? So, broadly then, so you went to movies, you came and ate if you are a pig, or if you were vegetarian. I don't know where they ate really. I'm sorry.
I think they just had friends on them and went home.
No, but the vegetarians I know came, ate whatever they did, but they came either to Jaffers, more to Jaffers because they were standalone, not here because the smell, as you can see, is like, will assault you. So they went to Jaffers, had a nice peach malba, what's that, rasgulla? Faluda. They do sell faluda, not very good, but must try the peach melba, long since.
Stereo Vision was also 1960s, no?
Much later.
Later?
98. Yeah, musicals is music shop, nothing at night, or dead at night, okay? But today, be careful, this guy is going to run over us. Like everybody's into it. Today, I don't know why, but everybody is mad today. I've never seen such mad traffic. Yeah?
The heat, we're all going to the heat.
Of the heat, no, but I mean, this traffic I've not seen. Okay, folks, right, all you guys want to go and check out, I'm going to check out whether they have the bun butter jam. But others are welcome to go and check their menu or whatever, or do whatever you want to. But thanks for coming, it's been a tough evening, right?
Weather is.
The weather is awful, but I
Kindly
really
announce
thank you.
about tomorrow's paid walk.
That's over. Closed.
Over.
Tomorrow's walk is closed.
Just
Talk later.
yeah, tomorrow 7:30.
Yeah.
No?
So thanks, folks.
6:30.
A lot of fun. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, have some fun, but do come. Today, no seats are available. It's all full and stuff. But I'm going to go and check if the bun butter jam is there, just to check. We'll take some pictures too. Friend, pictures. Bun butter jam will come.
Hi, we have completed the walk. It was an excellent experience with Mr. Vincent D. He explained about the various places which were there in 1960s. He was young at that time. He explained the things what all he knows in those places, like Shanthi Theatre, which was earlier, and a lot of new places he has told us, which is a very, very good information for us. And Today it was very hot, so everybody was tired, and I just reached around home around 10 o'clock to. I'm just completing this video. Hope you have enjoyed this video. Happy Independence Day. It is 75th Independence Day, and politicians, big actors have recommended people to have the national flag at their homes, and I have done that. Please do celebrate the Independence Day grandly. Thank you. Subscribe my channel. More knowledge, more wisdom. Balaganesan Rajagopal signing off. Thank you. This is Balaganesan Rajagopal. Happy Independence Day wishes to all. Jai Hind.